Good morning, gardening friends. It is now February 1st. It's 9 a.m. and I'm back to the garden. I think a few things have happened since the last update, so let's just kind of run through. You can kind of see what all this looks like now, but really the changes are over here. This is getting more organized. I've got kind of a bigger free area here. Just a more sort of open area to do things. Haven't completely planned this out yet because there's a window right on the other side here, and I'm not intentionally not showing you too much of it. But so we can view from inside the house this area, which is why I kind of want to make this even more beautiful than it is. Well, okay, granted, the ice plant's kind of a mess and everything because I've been in there. I've thrown a bunch of soil up onto the hill, which is kind of filling in some of the low spots. There's more of it sitting over here, which came from over there, which I'll show you in a minute. And just in general, I want it to look nicer. Let's come over here. This whole area right here needs to be redone. But up here is kind of the next one, and you can see I've stacked up some stepping stones and bought a couple of more pots. And ultimately you can see a couple of plants back there that aren't sitting on top of the stepping stones, so that's more stepping stones going in here. And then ultimately I want to get some stepping stones over into that corner, which right now doesn't have a tremendous amount of sun, but I want something to climb. The fence, I finally got some seeds. Among them are the scarlet runner beans, which I've always wanted to plant. And if you go look up scarlet, you know what, in fact, maybe I'm gonna put one more, at least one more. I might put one down here, and I might put another stepping stone further up the hill, because I'm gonna plant pole beans and scarlet runner beans. And scarlet runner beans, if you go look it up, I don't know that I can actually capture a picture and put it on here legally until I actually have my own plants growing. So if you want to see what they look like, they're really cool. Instead of getting the standard sort of yellow or white flower that comes before the bean itself, you get a scarlet, kind of a deep red color flower, and then the beans themselves are kind of red. So, and I think they're supposed to taste a lot like just regular green beans, but I've never tasted them. I've never seen them at a farmer's market. So I'm just really looking forward to planting it, growing it, and enjoying it. So that's kind of the plan, and I'll catch you up once I get some of this done. Well, I'd say that looks a little bit better. Going to give you an idea what this is the grazing garden, kind of morphs into the sun garden. I don't know what we're going to call it. And those two pots there, the two newer pots, that's what I've been looking forward to. I've got some seeds. Let's see if we can pull these out. A random bucket full of rocks. So try and, always kind of hard to do one-handed. So obviously I bought my seeds from Seeds and Such. Bush bean Kentucky Wonder. Those are going in pots, and there it is. Scarlet runner beans, whatever. So that's what's going in there. I've also got, if you order from these guys early enough in the season, they send you free packets of seeds. So there's two of them here. This one is the hybrid tomato. It's an experimental hybrid, so who knows. I did buy another. I'll show you in a minute. And the other seed they're sending out this year is the Newton basil. And then, these are just sample packs, so this is literally 5 seeds of the hybrid tomato, and it's like 20 of the basil. I also got, here's a different hybrid tomato, better bush. I wanted a bush habit, and when I read the description on this one, it said that it has one main stalk, one beefy main stalk, and that's always kind of been my problem, is staking the tomatoes. And we do get some wind here in Southern California. I think there was one more in there, wasn't there? Nope, that was it. So those are the seeds. I'm going to go ahead and plant bean seeds up there because that's what I've been looking forward to. Oops, sorry about the finger. Um, and that's it for the moment. I'll come back once I figure out what else I'm going to do. Okay, so some decisions have been made. The one thing I haven't done yet, I'm going to go ahead and put an adapter on the top of that particular sprinkler and run a little tube over for, actually I think I've got a little spray that I can maybe stick up on the hill there and try and spray down to all of these. So let me go through what we've got here in this sort of sun garden area. This may move throughout the year, but I just want to get them in the sort of the sunniest part of the garden for the moment, and then I can, later in the year, I can move them to other sunny parts, or if they're getting too much, I can reduce the sun. I'll have to do the sun tracking again, but anyway, so we got these two I mentioned. I got the Scarlet Runner bean and a Kentucky Wonder bush bean. So a couple of seeds of the bush bean in each, just to make sure at least one germinates. And so the bush beans will grow upright, but the Scarlet Runners are right next to the fence, and hopefully then they'll train themselves onto the fence and work their way up, whatever. We'll see what happens with that. Over here I've got, from the seeds I had, the hybrid Better Bush tomato in this pot, along with the Newton basil, the experimental, or the sample pack, sorry. Then over here I've got the experimental hybrid tomato, which was in a sample pack. So I'm going to go ahead and it's a smaller pot. We'll see what happens with those. If they do grow, then I'll figure out how to transplant. Behind that is the nasturtium. I just went ahead and put a label on it. And right up here is the micro tom tomato plant. And you can see there's a couple of tomatoes on there. These things are maybe a bit bigger than a pea. I don't know how to describe it. They're not quite the size of a golf ball yet, but there's one down there. I'm not sure if that one's healthy or not. It's not looking great, but just to get it in the sun and get it some water over here should be better for it than where it was. So we'll see. This was some really old seeds I had. I planted them a long time ago. I mean, like 6 months ago when I first moved in here, or something like that. It's been a while, and they were slow to grow, but they're growing. So if that one down there is not in good shape, at least what I can do is cut it open and harvest those seeds so I can propagate from there. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and take care of the sprinkler. I'm going to go pick some tangerines, and that'll be it for today. So this is the Budget Gardener signing off, saying, may your thumb be green.